So, recognizing what the water on the bar is actually doing and understanding how your boat is likely to react to that are two very important foundations for preparing to cross the bar safely. On an unusually calm day like this, it's highly unlikely there's going to be a problem. But even so, a good skipper is going to keep up those habits of good ship husbandry or good seamanship that John Harry just talked about. Ensuring the watertight boundaries of his vessel and taking sensible precautions against getting any nasty surprises, especially from things that might come loose. Some of the basics are really simple. Make sure that all your freeing ports are clear of obstruction. And if it hasn't been done already, take the scupper pins out. Close all doors and hatches. And make sure they're firmly secured. Some vessels have below decks and engine room ventilation ports that must be dealt with as well. Wind on loose chains and wires, or stow and secure them. Wind on and lash all nets. Secure all loose deck gear, and make sure that your poles and outriggers are all properly braced up. And make sure that somebody is looking out for that rogue wave that can sometimes come out of absolutely nowhere. That's the short version, appropriate for a calm day like this. The skippers you've seen in this video have all survived some dodgy crossings in their time. To them, this one is better than the proverbial doddle. But they didn't survive those dodgy crossings without learning something from the experience. So once again, let the been there, done that skippers tell you in their own words what some of the basics are and take you through some of the more subtle aspects of getting them right.
Anything that can move, tie down. Anything that can't move, tie it down, and anything else, tie that down as well, basically.
Virtually, if it can move, you know, lash it down. It's just really straightforward. I mean, we've all been taught at school, you know.
We're looking at a quite a heavy anchor here. We're looking at probably roughly 60 kilo anchor, securely lashed to the side of the vessel. Once again, onto here. It's got a fastening through it. That's what I call a securely lashed anchor. One of these things that broke a lashing on a bar would be dangerous to life and limb. This would be like a missile flying around the deck and breakers. And one thing you wouldn't want to do is your crew tell them to come up and start lashing this down when they're coming across the bar. Too late. With your pin in here, which is a good idea, you remove that pin and your anchor's ready to set. Once again, it's got it moused as well. The shackle's been moused. And even if you like to go back along the chain, they've even put another safety rope on there in case someone inadvertently moves the controls, the anchor could set itself. So simple things like that can really be an advantage.
And I said the vessel doesn't just roll over, it actually gets physically picked up and thrown on its side. And like a bit of string that might hold a dough lab in port, when that dough lab's full of water and the boat gets virtually thrown on its side, it needs a bit more than string. It actually needs a secure rope, or 3 or 4 bindings. It really needs to be secured. You know, pom board's a bit like when you put the ice cubes in the freezer. You sort of they'll divide them up. If you actually fill it up full of water and take the ice cube partition out, you can bloody hardly hang on to the bloody thing. You put that in and it's just stiff as. And pom boards do the same thing on a fishing vessel. So all this is full of fish, and when the boat rolls, and I mean thrown on its side, the fish will not slide across.
But if you've got things in the wrong place and say the fish aren't stored and down below and you'd only need an empty pond between them or something, and a boat rolls over and the fish can fall out into the next pond and things like that. You know, your fish has got to be locked so it can't go anywhere.
The worst freezer you can probably have is a half full freezer. Alright if it's ponded, but a half full freezer is still dangerous because when the boat rolls, I'm afraid all the fish, and if it's not contained, will end up on one side of the vessel. And in a freezer like this, which is holding say 18 tonne, straight away you're going to have 9 tonne pressed up against the side, and it can be a recipe for disaster.
Quite heavy duty lugs on here, which is good to see.
I ensure that we've got everything lashed down, all hatch covers. If something can fill up with water, put a lid on it. Tie everything down, close all ventilation for the engine room and stuff if it's in a spot where it can get water down it.
And that is what I call a secure hatch. Watertight, water can come right across here and no water's going to get down into that hold.
Just making sure all your scuppers haven't got pins in them, so that if you do cop a wave, the water gets shaken off the deck. And basic safety measures, have your life jackets ready.
Talk to your crew, you sort of let them know what's happening. Life jackets on the table.
Making sure that everybody knows what you're going to do if there is a problem, and that things like life jackets and that are close to hand. Those are the preparations that we make.
Have one of your crew wave spotting, because you can't be looking forward and looking back at the same time.
If it's a real bad crossing, you have your crewman inside the door with the door shut and he's looking out either the window or the glass on the door for us.
You've got to make sure that your day tanks are full, and majority of the boats are only sucking out of engine room tanks. I think it probably pays to make sure that both tanks are open, so if you do roll over, at least you're not going to get a gutsful of air out of one tank.
You make sure your fuel tank's got enough fuel in, and if you got hit by a decent swell, that if she went on a side she wouldn't get an air block.
A fuel blockage, and it's right when you come in and the boat does a big heave and a lurch. It's that sort of stuff that stirs up the muck in your fuel.
And you make sure your engine rooms, everything's tied down, for example your toolbox and that, and your fire extinguishers can't fly around. It has been known for a fire extinguisher to get fired off the wall and hit a pipe in the engine room on a vessel here once and break it. And by the time the guys got to the wharf, their bilge alarms were going.
Most boats and motors these days have got automatic shutdown systems on them. Low oil pressure, overheating, low water temperature, the motor automatically shuts down. I always override that system when I'm going across the bars. It'll probably horrify the manufacturers of the engines, but I think you're better off having a half-cooked motor tied up beside a wharf than having the motor stop halfway across the bar and we end up on the beach or on the bricks.
Check the engine room out, fuel tanks, stability, water in the bilges, just general seamanship really.
It's just everything has to be perfect at that point. That's just when you don't want things to go wrong, and that's when enormous sort of pressures are put on your boat that aren't normally. You know, the rudder gear's all getting worked extra hard, the propeller, everything, you know.
And yeah, just be aware of what can happen. You know, you've got crew on board, it's a lot's riding on you not getting it wrong, and you're a long time dead if you do.
So those are some of the things that you can and should do to try to make every crossing as safe as this one. But worryingly, as we've said before, the record shows that many incidents happen to experienced skippers. That means that even if you do get everything right, you can still go down. Or it means that for some reason, skippers don't always take the proper precautions. The final part of the video looks at the pressures on skippers at decision time.